All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into Game 3 between Chef and, of course, Lucky. This is our match number 2. It is match point for both these players. And right now, Liquid is up a 1-0 overall. Let's go ahead and get into it, as this will determine if Liquid gets a big lead or FXO is able to tie it up. You do not want to be down 2-0 in a clan war against a team like Team Liquid. It's very nerve-wracking, I'm sure. And
4 best of 3s and an ace, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're 0-2, every single match from that point is match point, and that's big.
That very, very nervous position to be in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the nice thing here behind the scenes, like at EG, when it's... Because you don't necessarily play all the matches at the same time sometimes, and I'm not sure how they did it. You do one at a time, so there's some observers. The managers usually get to take a look. But if it's not one at a time, and you're that third match when your team's down 0-2, holy Toledo, it's already nerve-wracking because everyone's going to watch. It's a big-time broadcasted match. NASL, great audience. But when everything is riding on you, the cool thing here though is if you win there, extra glory, boom, you got it.
Glory. All right, let's talk about the build a little bit right now, because Chef, he's playing some mind games, especially for the map that was chosen, Daybreak. Daybreak is known to be a fast expanding map. And what do we have? Lucky going up to 15 Harvesters. So it's a 10 pull against 15 Hatch. And Chef is probably like Booyakasha.
I'm going to be interested to see what Lucky's doing behind this. A lot of times Zergs will actually even then drone up to like 16 and then get gas and then spawning pool, which seems to be exactly what he's doing here. And as you can see, Lings are actually half done. And Lucky, are you going to make a spawning pool? Okay, he's hesitating at 15, so that's the slightly good news here. I mean, honestly, you want to go Hatch then spawning pool if you're rooting for Lucky. If you're a Chef fan, then you're hoping the guy does anything but that. Spawning pool does go down at the same time as the second pair of Lings are coming out. Gretorp, we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned race. Lucky does know it's coming as that Overlord scouts the Lings.
Thankfully for Lucky, Daybreak is a map where it's a little bit longer than most maps, so it's an extra 5-10 seconds of travel time that those Zerglings have to traverse. But
does he cancel the hatch, do you think?
It's going to be tough. I think he might cancel it, but he could actually keep it up and then utilize,
I think Chef should focus it. So he's going to make his way in the mineral line.
Oh, wow, yes.
I mean, he doesn't know this yet, but, well, okay. We're going to see. I'll come back to that in a second. Ling's going after the drones. Drones are like, sure, come on in. Come into this mineral line. They are not going to oblige. Queen should get started here in just a moment. Yep, there's the Lings coming out too. So, of course, Chef is on the clock. The hatch did get canceled, so actually my choice would have been completely incorrect. And now the Lings are getting on those drones. That's the pairing you wanted.
Oh, my.
Just before the Lings came out, not quite sure why Lucky chose this time to do that. He did only lose 3 Harvesters, so not that bad. But you know what? Chef gets to leave with every single... almost every single Zergling.
Just one Zergling looks like died in that engagement, so not terrible obviously for Chef. I do have to question, Lucky, I don't know if I love that engagement. I think he should just stuck in one of the mineral patches.
Yes.
And then just waited until his Zerglings came out. But
he's up 3 drones right now. It could have been 6, and that is paramount. Now, Chef is doing a follow-up here. Look at this, Lings pulling up the ramp. They're going to try to go ahead and open up a hole because there are 4 Banelings coming. The Zerglings of Chef are really weak, so they're having a tough time cleaning that up, but the Banelings have been made into the mineral line here. Spawning pool is up, and look what Lucky has done, spreading all of his drones. In fact, 1 Baneling connected, 2 Banelings connected, and look at that, only 4 drones go down for 4 Banelings. That's about as good of a trade as you can possibly hope. Now, the Queen does go down, so Chef is not completely out of it just yet. In fact, he's up 5 drones because during that time he's been droning. So pretty nice from Chef, and also all that mining time lost for Lucky as well.
Yeah, and of course the Overlord's in position, so things are going to settle up a little bit. Metabolic boost has been researched. It's about to finish for Lucky over, of course, Chef's timing, which is a good, it looks like 50 seconds behind. So Chef will lose a little bit of map control here. That's going to be tough, but as I was saying, the Overlord positioning by Chef is so important. He's going to be able to see, is this going to be one base aggression or continuation of one base, or is he going to be going for an expansion? This is going to be the big question right now.
Yeah, and Lucky, actually, these are extremely expensive Zerglings for him because these, I mean, honestly, the Zerg would rather they be drones. Of course, he had to make Lings for that map control you're talking about, but also just to kind of get a feel for what's going on. They do get in and then get out at the cost of only 1 Zergling. Chef will stabilize, though, as Lings are being transformed into banelings for the top of that ramp, and I assume that from here he'll drone and then hatch just like usual. So just like we talked about last game, it should stabilize into that kind of calm before the storm where both players are like, okay, we survived the baneling phase, let's go ahead and start macroing. The question, of course, is how hard does each player macro, and can they get away with it? Now, Baneling Nest does go down for Lucky, as well as a Spine Crawler. And if you look at that income tab, it's 17 Harvesters for Lucky versus the 21 of Sheth. Sheth is ahead in every way you can be.
You will see the seesaw motion a lot of times in DVZ when, you know, one player has the drone advantage, the other player has the drone advantage, but this is not the case where Lucky actually is advantageous at all. He's going to be equal to drone count, and then Sheth should take it away with his drone pump. And the reason why we see those spikes a lot of time is just because of the injects. Sometimes, you know, people miss the injects, so you will have a little bit later. You can see this one queen actually has a little bit more energy, but it's because he has 2 queens out in the field, so that's completely fine. But overall, you know, that's the main reason why we have those.
I like what Sheth's doing. He's still building Zerglings. He's actually expanded, but by building these Zerglings instead of just trying to go for pure drone, he's forcing Lucky to build drones, or excuse me, lings, when he doesn't want to. He also can't expand. He doesn't feel comfortable doing that. Gets a Spine Crawler out of his second queen, all that good stuff. And basically what that translates to is, yeah, okay, Sheth was ahead in drones, and if he makes more drones, potentially he's just more ahead in drones. But by making lings, he maintains the lead in drones, and then also gets map control, also gets extra advantages against his opponent from stack defenses being produced, extra queens, that kind of thing. So Sheth, a very, very good ZVZ player. I feel like he's commanding the metagame right now.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. And the, you know, attacking actually, especially in ZVZ, it helps out a lot because you can control how well you actually make in terms of overlords. Right. So let's say I know I'm attacking, I don't have to make those extra overlords where, you know, if Lucky is just trying to grow, he will kind of, you know, infer that there will be a need for more overlords. But if you have traits, it's like all of a sudden the overlord that I just made is completely useless. I could have utilized that to get a faster, you know, hatchery or whatever it might be. One of the trades over here, Lucky is going to take the better end of that stick.
Yeah, and Sheth actually had more lings. Not the biggest deal. It ended up costing me like 2 or 3 lings at the end of the day, and that's not going to change things dramatically. The big thing here is that Sheth does have faster tech going down, so +1 attack is being upgraded. As you can see, in fact, the Roach Warren is complete as well, which is not the biggest deal. Dare I say, actually, Lucky might be going Muta. He is at Lair, just skipping the Roach tech altogether. It'll come down to how fast and what kind of saturation he puts on that natural. Meanwhile, some lings still chasing each other around. Lucky wants to continue to be active with his lings because he has to figure out, are there 20 Zerglings out here or are there 60? And do I need to make more defenses at home? The players that just think you can sit back, oh wow, a ling makes its way into the main, sees the Roach Warren and the Lair in production before it perishes. But the point I was trying to make here is this is not a passive matchup. Not entirely. Of course, you're back at home making roaches and drones, but you need to be active with your lings. Oh, we have a connection here.
Yeah,
some banelings. But just to wrap up my point, you need those lings to kind of figure out, okay, how many drones does the guy have? How many roaches does he have? Is he about to attack? I don't know. The lings are going to let me find out.
And we saw Sheth attempting to do that, but the banelings were able to actually cut them off. That's why you need to stagger your Zerglings a little bit. That's probably one of the most important things. We saw that actually done by Lucky in the first game where he sent 1 Zergling in and then all of his Zerglings. At least he gets a scout in, but Sheth loses everything to a single baneling. Now the Spire tech is up, you are absolutely right, but Infestation Pit is coming out on the way too. And don't forget the +1 timing. That is a very important timing where all of a sudden your roaches are supercharged. A lot of times you do rely on just Zerglings. Straight up Zerglings keep you safe, but right now if Sheth does increase in the amount of roaches, he could potentially be safe from any of these mutas with a big roach timing.
Very interesting. No roach speed going up. If you look at that evolution chamber, the time for the upgrade would have been the second +1 attack finished. I anticipate what he's doing is he's waiting to dump all of his gas into infestors and the upgrade.
That's exactly right.
Because he seems to be poised to do that. Now, whether or not that's a direct response to the potential mutatech, I'm not sure, but the nice thing about infestors is they're not only good versus one thing. In fact, if he got duped and there's like a huge roach tech being hidden behind Lucky, then actually infestors good there too. So let's check that vision real quick because I want to see, yeah, he did scout the Spire, so he knows exactly that it is coming. And he's making a lot of lings with those infestors because the lings don't cost gas, but they still maintain that map control. So nice play by Sheth potentially, especially with these spore crawlers going down just to be safe.
And lately we've been seeing a lot of burrowed infestor play against Zerg. Well, obviously ZVC. And that can be very dangerous. So you're actually doing a lot of stuff like implied pressure. You know, you have to have...
Well, the second one was bad, but the first one was good.
But you have to have that vision all around the map, and it's really important that you defend, because all it takes is a couple infestors, and all of a sudden your drone line is completely screwed.
Meanwhile, the third for Chef is going to go ahead and get sniped, whereas FXO Lucky was able to defend his third. So all of a sudden, all that praise we're seeing in Chef is starting to kind of look in favor of Lucky, but I'll tell you what, that was pre-infestors. Now that the infestors have come out, the big question will be, can Chef utilize these guys the way they need to be?
Chef is throwing away drones needlessly over to this third base. You can see banelings are actually being moved over there too. So what is Chef doing?
Oh, it's a trap.
Money fungal growths.
And there's the queens to help clean it up. That's all the mutas, man.
Yeah, that's dead.
Well,
They're dead, man.
2 technically escape, but that's a lot of mutas.
That's a ton. I mean, infestors are trading time for obviously sheer minerals and gas, 100 and 100 a piece. So if you're killing 5, that's quite a bit of minerals and gas. All Chef has to do is wait, and he still has all of them.
Now Chef looks to be thinking about being aggressive off of 2 bases, knowing that he couldn't stop the third from going down and having his stopped. There should be a little bit of a lull. The other thing here too is that Chef knows that his infestors represent a lot more attack power, especially with all those mutas dying. He's up in upgrades. Yep. Will he go for it? I'm not quite sure. He's now setting up his third, but he has forgotten about roach speed. Hopefully, there it is. Okay, wow, it's almost like we're cheating. Roach speed does go down for Chef right away. And I'm glad to see that, because sometimes when you kind of skip that timing, you almost forget about it altogether, and that would be devastating.
Yeah, that's kind of an indicator that Lucky doesn't have to worry about any particular like huge aggressive plays. Yes, this is going to come down here, but it's not going to be an all-in, I don't think, because Glial Reconstitution still weighs away. +2 is about to finish, though. That might be a good cue, but it's still a minute away, so at least Lucky doesn't have to worry that, or excuse me, doesn't need to worry in the immediate.
There's like pure roach coming up behind this. He might actually have to worry. And the thing is, if you look at that supply, Chef's up about 30 supply. Units tab shows
that's true.
6 infestors, about for both. Actually, Lucky is at 5, and with these spine crawlers, to your point, Andre, he might be okay, but he's actually relocated. And those mutas have popped up the wrong place, wrong time.
Now, what these mutas actually do is commit a lot of energy away from the main battle. That's always really good. But is it going to be enough? Now, Lucky does have infestors for himself. Let's go ahead and look at the units tab really quickly. 6 to 6. So both of them have equal numbers of infestors.
Spine crawlers and positioning should do a lot for Lucky, but we're going to have that found out right now. Chef pushing forward at 2 attack upgrade versus the 1 of Lucky. Infestors make themselves known, but now that concave working for Chef. Lucky has forfeit the position, and his roaches are all bumped up together, but there's more energy for Lucky. I don't know if it matters, though. That's a huge concave from Chef, and it seems like he might come out ahead here.
Yeah, Glial Reconstitution has finished. +2 out for Chef. This is something that we see a lot of times where one Zerg has a big advantage in upgrades, and that just translates to a very easy win. You can see the spine crawlers got mutilated ever so fast. Additional spine crawlers are trying to move over here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It looks like Chef might be cleaned up here. No, the roaches are going to stay alive. They're just so powerful with that +2 upgrade over his opponent's +1.
I think eventually they get held off, but the interesting thing is that behind this, Chef has gotten his third. It's fairly saturated. There's actually a miss rally there, worth noting. And Chef did lose 4 infestors in that engagement. He's still thinking about being aggressive as he's out here, but look at that third. Okay, he did find him. It's like finding a $100 bill in that couch. Harvester's loss aren't that, that's not that eventful. 9 killed from Chef, 5, or Chef killed 9 rather, and that's, you know, I've seen more impressive numbers. Units tab does show 68 drones for Lucky, 55 for Chef, so there's still a huge advantage there. 29 harvesters, or excuse me, 29 roaches from Lucky versus the 42 of Chef. So if Lucky can hold this off, his economic advantage should be good, but that's a big if, Gretorp.
It's going to be tough. I remember that. I mean, the upgrades are something that matters a lot, but with those fungal growths, money fungal growths coming out from Lucky, so he might be able to hold this off. It's going to come down to the wire, I think. Let's see. Both of them are trading off a lot of hits.
The attack upgrade's so strong for Chef.
+2 against +1. I mean, that is dramatic right there.
He doesn't have as many infestors. He's dealing with spine crawlers. Production is immediate for Lucky, but he's doing so much damage, and now that drone advantage could end up being the undoing of Lucky, as Chef does push forward. And that seems to be it. I'm not seeing a whole lot of units coming in. Infested Terrans even aiding in this battle. The third does go down, and gosh, I think Lucky might be kicking himself in the butt here because he had the faster third, he sniped the third, but his Mutatech getting shut down as hard as it did and droning as hard as he did could equate to his loss here.
Yeah, Chef had so much momentum with his upgrade advantage, with his infestor count being out there longer. It was just amazing. He's going to burrow. Oh, man, he's doing burrow play. WW comes out. Chef, are you the biggest banner bear? I don't know after that move.
Two pretty big upsets. Again, FXO going into this, especially just by perception with that Korean roster and all those Codes players, a lot of people would say, I don't even know the lineup, I don't know the draw, but I'm picking FXO because they have those big name Korean players. TLO, Chef, and that's not, I mean, okay, Chef a little bit more so than TLO. Those guys are not the big guns of Team Liquid. The big guns are Hero, Zenu, and Rhett. And then you get to Chef, in my opinion. And again, no disrespect to the people that are, I mean, if someone said you're just barely not as good as Red, I would take that as a severe compliment. But Team Liquid still has their players down the line that those are the guys that you count on to win these matches.
Exactly.
And Chef and TLO coming in the clutch. FXO is on that back foot. We talked about not wanting to be down 0-2. Too bad, man. Team Liquid's too good.
So Team Liquid up 2-0, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go into the third match after this break, so don't go anywhere. Team Liquid looking really good, and here at the NASTL.